and welcome back to my YouTube channel, NFL Weekly. So today we're going to be talking about the NFL Pro Bowl. So more specifically through the Pro Bowl, I'm going to be talking about the snubs on the AFC and NFC teams. Snubs are people who are basically you believe that they should be on the team, but they aren't. And to clarify, players on the NFC and AFC teams are decided on based on fans. So basically fans will vote on them to be in the teams. Like the NFL doesn't have a committee that decides, oh, these are the best players, they should be on the teams. They are decided based on fan votes. That's why there's a lot of snubs, because either that team doesn't have a huge following or people don't really like the player even though they're actually good. So it just all depends, I guess. And then I'll be creating a new team of people who I think should be on AFC and NFC teams. And we'll be reviewing like who's on there now, their current roster. I'm recreating new teams, including the snubs I believe who should be on there, regardless of what the actual official teams are. And then the second thing is why it should be removed. Like a lot of people believe that they should just take out the NFL Pro Bowl as a whole, and there's really good reasons why too. And I'm one of those firm believers that believes there's no use to it. Not many people watch it anyway. And then additionally, there's a lot of half-hearted play. Half-hearted play basically means there's a lot of lack of effort. Like you don't really see people actually putting effort into it like you do in a normal game. Like even a normal regular season game between like the Lions and the Browns would be better than the Pro Bowl game. Even though you think it would be really good because it's all the best players, it's not. And then the NFL recently introduced a new rule, which I just despise. It's called the no tackle rule, in the sense this is a flag football game now. The Pro Bowl will be, and the Pro Bowl is not just one football game. Initially, to clarify, if you do not know of it, it's many other events that you can showcase, that players can showcase their talent, including like dodgeball, that stuff. Those are just more of the fun games, but it all culminates in one, usually football game, like actual football where they tackle each other. It's all the best NFC teams and all the best NFC players and all the best AFC players. But now they're making it so it's a flag football game, which you can see how that will turn out. But we'll see. Maybe it could be really good, but not a huge fan of watching flag football. So basically, let's take a look at their rosters first. So this is their AFC roster, because first we're going to be talking about their snubs and then looking at their rosters and then creating a new team. So it should be exciting. So this is the AFC Pro Bowl games roster. I just found this on the NFL website, and I just thought it would be a good one to look at because it has all the players and it's by the NFL, so it should be official. So quarterback, we have Patrick Mahomes. So if they have an asterisk next to their team and their name, that means they are the starting player, because these are all backups. Like Josh Allen's a backup, Joe Burrow's a backup, but they're not actually starting. But they probably will end up having some time in the game because it's just a fun game, so they'll probably be subbing in and out. So everyone will most likely get a chance to play. But these aren't, but Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, see like Josh Jacobs, since they don't have an asterisk, they're not the starters, but they'll most likely get a turn. They'll most likely play. So quarterback, we have Patrick Mahomes. I actually agree with this decision. Patrick Mahomes, probably one of the best quarterbacks. I see him like a Tom Brady type, but I see him only as a Tom Brady type if he gets more rings, because he only has like one or two. I lost track. One or two. He has a few, but Tom Brady has 6 or 7. 7, sorry. 7? 6 or 7. So I don't really see it as anything too Tom Brady-like, but I definitely do think he's a lot of potential. And I agree with this decision. Josh Allen and Joe Burrow are also very good, but I do think you could argue Josh Allen, but I do think Patrick Mahomes is a little bit better than him. I think the Chiefs will go very far this season, maybe to the Super Bowl. Then you have Nick Chubb, Josh Jacobs, and Derrick Henry. I'm surprised Derrick Henry's third, not a starter, but Nick Chubb is having a great season. But I don't think, at least Derrick Henry should be second. I do think Derrick Henry's one of those players that, okay, they might have one offseason, but they're very good in, like, I don't think Derrick Henry actually has had an offseason. Like, he's actually had a really good season. So seeing him at third it's okay, but I definitely do think he is better than Josh Jacobs, who a lot of people say Josh Jacobs is not that good, but they're just underrating him. Josh Jacobs is one of a really good running back, so I do think everyone underrates him. And Nick Chubb, obviously very good. So I'm happy with these three. And fullback, Patrick Ricard. I mean, there's not many like really good fullbacks, so that's a pretty solid take. I'll take Patrick Ricard from the Ravens. Then wide receivers. A lot of the times that's a very People think there's a lot of snubs, but in my opinion, most of the snubs come from defense, like defensive tackle, cornerback, like all those players, because there's so many of them. There's more of them than ever. So I think everyone thinks a lot of other defensive tackles should be better than the ones that they actually are in the AFC and NFC teams, like their rosters. But we'll see. We have to look at those first. So wide receiver, we have Tyreek Hill. I mean, obviously, I agree with that. Tyreek Hill is probably one of the best receivers ever. And I do think he is the cheetah. I do think he's having a very good season this year. Same with Stephon Diggs. Stephon Diggs always does well. And Stephon Diggs, after that Minneapolis Miracle, has just become insanely popular. So Devontae Adams and Jamar Chase, I love Jamar Chase. He's probably one of my favorite wide receivers. Maybe him and Justin Jefferson. But I do think that this is a good order because, like I said, even though Tyreek Hill and Stephon Diggs are starting, they're going to swap out places, meaning Devontae Adams and Jamar Chase will get probably the same amount of time as Tyreek Hill, but they just put them at starting because that they have to. Those are people that are going to be starting officially, but technically Devontae Adams and Jamar Chase will be starting, so I'm excited to see them play out. Then tight end. This I completely agree with. Travis Kelce and Mark Andrews, two of the best tight ends in the NFL as a whole, not just in the AFC, I think. Then you have offensive tackle. So you have Laramie Tunsil, Teron Armstead, and Orlando Brown. I think these are very good. Like, then again, offensive tackle, defensive tackle, you could have a lot of snubs. But I think as a solid for the AFC, that's a very good. Like, I don't see any reason why these people should not be on. They're very good. Like, Teron Armstead, I actually really like him. So I definitely do think these people should be on here. Offensive guard. Joel Bitonio, Quentin Nelson, Joe Thuney. I actually really like Quentin Nelson. I don't know why. Some players you just like them because you like them. But I do think one player should actually be on here. Michael Onwenu from the New England Patriots. He's having a really good season. And he hasn't allowed one single sack this season. So I do think he's a big snub. He's been a rock in pass protection. He's allowed just one quarterback hit. Just one out of 14 games? That's a lot. And he's a disciplined technical blocker, and he only had 2 penalties this season. Like, what else can you expect from an offensive tackle? Only one quarterback hit? That's insanely good. So I definitely do think he got snubbed, but otherwise, solid. That's what I'm saying. Offensive tackle, it's okay if one player gets snubbed here and there, but then we have center, Creed Humphrey, Mitch Morse. Gotta love him. I actually really like Creed Humphrey. Centers, just gotta be able to do your job. Gotta be able to just pass, snap the ball. I definitely do think these are pretty solid picks. I would not argue against them. Then you have defensive end Myles Garrett, Max Crosby, and Trey Hendrickson. I completely agree with basically all these decisions. I don't see anything that would say otherwise. So I don't say anything that says otherwise. But Myles Garrett, he's having a really good season. I remember this one meme was basically he got really jacked and then they had to call him in for drug testing. It was so funny. But I definitely do think he's really good. He's really dominant and powerful. He'll get to the quarterback before the offensive tackle or offensive guard can get to him. And then Max Crosby, I also like Max Crosby. Gotta love him. He's a very solid pick. And Trey Hendrickson, I don't see anything wrong. So I definitely completely agree. Then interior linemen, we have Chris Jones, Quinnen Williams, and Jeffrey Simmons. I also agree with these decisions. It's very hard to not agree with a lot of these decisions. So outside linebacker, sorry, a lot of talking. But outside linebacker, Matt Judon, Khalil Mack, and TJ Watt, completely agree. TJ Watt, he's very solid. Matt Judon also, and Khalil Mack, they're all very powerhouses. I'm scared of them. Honestly, I'm actually scared of them, so I definitely do think. Then Roquan Smith, then CJ Mosley, completely agree. That's what I'm saying. Defensive, offensive, tackles or offensive linemen, I don't usually see a lot of snubs with them, and I don't really question them. It's more or less when it comes to those wide receivers, those running backs, where I do see a lot of those snubs, or cornerback safeties. But now we're getting into the cornerbacks. Sauce Gardner, very good pick by the Jets this year. Of course, he's the starting one. He didn't allow a single touchdown in his collegiate career, and he's doing basically the same here in the big league as well. Marlon Humphrey, Xavier Howard, Patrick Surtain, the second. Again, all wonderful players, all really good tight off defensive cornerbacks, so I don't see why otherwise. Minka Fitzpatrick, he's really good. I don't know what else to say. They're just really good. They're one of these players that you most likely won't give up a touchdown on them. Then you have safeties, like the strong safety, Derwin James and Jordan Poyer. Yes, I actually really like Derwin James. He's actually the highest paid safety in the NFL, so you best believe he's going to come on here. And then long snapper, Morgan Cox. Long snappers, got to just be able to do your job, so I don't see anything with that. I feel like any team long snapper would work. I don't really study long snappers. Punter, Tommy Townsend. He's a really good punter. I feel like everyone on the Chiefs is really good. Place kicker Justin Tucker hit the 67-yard field goal earlier this year to break Matt Prater's record. Obviously got to put him in. He's probably one of the greatest kickers of all time. Turn specialist Devin Duvernay, really good. Also kind of plays in as a wide receiver for the Ravens. Special teamer Justin Hardy. Pretty solid picks. I don't see otherwise. Okay, now. Gotta catch my breath. But let's go to the NFC roster. Here's where I see a little more snubs, I will admit. I'll see a little bit more snubs. But, okay, quarterback, Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts is probably having one of his best seasons yet. He's obviously MVP caliber. I don't see otherwise. Geno Smith also having a really good season, even though the Seahawks aren't having a really good season. Kirk Cousins, yes. And Geno Smith is pretty high up. I did not expect him to be second. Wow. Second? Wow. Like they're really good quarterbacks, but second? Wow. Kirk Cousins should at least beat that out. Geno Smith really good. I'm not trying to overrate him or anything, but actually, now I do think about it, a lot of these quarterbacks only seem bad, like Justin Fields, because they have a bad, they don't have anything to rely on, or they don't have the best team. So I definitely do think the Seahawks got a really good quarterback, and they definitely lost the trade with Russell Wilson. They traded so many picks. The Broncos traded so many picks, and then Russell Wilson's what they're like 4-10, they're 4-10. Yeah, they're just not good. Saquon Barkley, as a proud Giants fan, who is the profile picture of my YouTube channel, of course he deserves to be on there. Sometimes I will admit, either he has an injury or he has an off season, but this season he's been producing very well. He slowly declined from the beginning where he really was powerful, but I do see him making those really strong running plays. He'll do the spin move, and then he will give up extra yards after the catch if he receives it, or he'll try his best. And I do think that's what I most admire about him. He's very powerful. That's why they call him Saquon for a reason. And Tony Pollard, he's having a really good season. Miles Sanders, also. Fullback, Kyle Juszczyk. Kyle Juszczyk is probably my favorite fullback. I like fullbacks, those people who are like the running backs, but they're blockers. They're both. And I definitely like Kyle Juszczyk. He's one of those most well-known fullbacks. He's probably the first fullback I ever learned about. So that just goes to show how popular and how good he is. Wide receivers. Justin Jefferson. Probably my favorite. Jay Jettas. You gotta love him. He's probably gonna, by the time I post this, he probably could break Calvin Johnson's single season record. He's 200-300 yards away. He definitely will. So he has so much potential. Not just now, but in the future. He's pretty young. So, he's going to become a Hall of Famer easily. A.J. Brown, he's also having a good season. The Eagles as a whole are having a good season. So, if the team's having a good season, every player is most likely having a good season. CeeDee Lamb and Terry McLaurin. Wow, just got to get all the NFC East players in the wide receivers except for the Giants. The Giants should really address, I know it's off topic, but the Giants should really address their wide receiver. Kenny Golladay, $72 million for a 4-year contract, and he's benched. He's benched. You're paying him $18 million a year just for having him bench. We really need some good wide receivers. OBJ, please come back. As I posted my first short, please come back. We need you. Or just some good wide receiver. We should actually trade for one. I think that would be the key difference. We have Darius Slayton, but come on, you need one more than that. We don't have any notable wide receivers as the other teams do. CeeDee Lamb, he's having a really, really good season, probably his best season yet. Terry McLaurin, he's had a past couple seasons, and this is carrying on, I believe. Although Jahan Dotson would have been nice, but he's a rookie. You gotta put Terry McLaurin on there. Tight end, George Kittle and TJ Hawkinson. TJ Hawkinson is having a really good season with the Vikings. I think the trade for him was a really good decision by both teams. And then George Kittle. George Kittle's probably one of the more well-known, along with Travis Kelce, tight ends, and I definitely do think he's going to carry on with that. But offensive tackle, Trent Williams, Lane Johnson, and Tristan Wirfs all agree, speaking that Philadelphia Eagles have the best O-line, so you got to put someone on there. And I did not look at this roster fully yet, but if Jason Kelsey is not the center, we're gonna have a problem. We're gonna have a problem. That's gonna be a big snub. Offensive guard, Zach Martin, Landon Dickerson, Chris Lindstrom. Like, again, I'm not really specifically interested in offensive linemen in the sense that, like, I think anyone will do, but not like anyone will do, but like anyone will be good. Okay, I keep on contradicting myself there, but in the sense that if you have a snub here or there, it could make a key difference, or it most likely will not. So I personally do not see anything wrong with that, I guess you could say. I'm the one who should be knowing all these things. But, okay, center. Okay, thank God, Jason Kelsey. Again, Philadelphia Eagles' best offensive line. Jason Kelsey, the Eagles' O-line just came out with the jingle, the carol, whatever. So, you gotta love him. So, nice to see the Kelsey brothers on there. Frank Ragnow. And again, center, really good. Defense. Defensive, Nick Bosa, Brian Burns, and DeMarcus Lawrence. Again, DeMarcus Lawrence, very powerful with the Cowboys. Nick Bosa, who's also very good. Again, I like the Bosa brothers. But, interior lineman, Aaron Donald. Defensive end, is there a defensive tackle? No. But I do think one defensive tackle who, to be honest, is Javon Hargrave from the Eagles. Like, I think he was snubbed. I don't know where they have defensive tackle, but I'm still going to mention him now if you think about it. But he's been one of the most dominant interior defensive linemen. So it comes to interior linemen, which I'm going on to now. Like, yes, Dexter Lawrence, Jonathan Allen are really good, but come on, man. He's been having a really good season. He's been, like I said, one of the most dominant interior linemen. He's recorded a career-high 10 sacks this season, and he's constantly getting after quarterbacks with an additional 48 pressures, 33 hurries, and 5 quarterback hits under his belt. Like, that's a lot, and you're going to not put him on there. But as a Giants fan, I'm really excited to see Dexter Lawrence on there. I'm glad he did not get stubbed. He's been a real key defensive player, defensive lineman for the Giants this year to get those quarterbacks under the pressure. And the Giants defense, like I've always said, they're very good. It's usually the offense that'll screw it up or will not put a lot of potential out there or doesn't show up when they need it the most. Aaron Donald. Then again, the Rams. Whoo-wee, look. I think this is the first Rams players we're ever seeing. Let me make sure. I think that's the first Rams player we're seeing. Like the defending Super Bowl champs. And you don't have one player. And then Cooper Kupp's not even there because Cooper Kupp's not having the best season. He's injured. He's not having the best season, of course, because he's injured. But, yeah, can't be doing that. Like, how do you go from the Super Bowl defending champ to, like, not even having a winning season? Okay, I guess if you make the playoffs, or you don't even make the playoffs, but you just have a winning season, or at least a tying season. But they didn't even have that. So I remember Micah Parsons. I love Micah Parsons. So Darius Smith, Hassan Reddick. Then again, I'm not going to really object to any of them that much. Fred Warner, Demario Davis from the Saints. I think that's one of the first Saints players we're seeing. But then again, agree with all of them. I have no other words. Trevon Diggs. I think Trevon Diggs is a little overrated in my opinion. Mike Matthews, Jair Alexander. I don't really like him. I just don't think he portrays the best attitude. And then I love, he'll give a, like, you know, when they wave their hands out, say no catch, and then he'll get an interception, and the next play he'll let out like a 50-yard touchdown. Same with Trevon Diggs. That's why I don't like him. Trevon Diggs, he's all talk. Darius Slay, I actually really like Darius Slay. He's one of those players who uses their actions instead of their words. Like, he'll show himself by literally getting the interception or blocking the pass or something like that instead of doing it basically all talk. Quandre Diggs, Buda Baker, Talana Hufanga. I don't disagree with any of them. Long snapper Andrew DePola. Tress Way, Washington Commanders. Like, I'm going to be honest, I would have loved to see Jamie Dillon on there. I think he's having a really good season, but I would have loved to see one. Jason Myers, Cavante Turpin, Jeremy Reeves. Then again, no objections. So no huge snubs in my opinion. I feel like most of them that I haven't mentioned, like, there's nothing more that I haven't mentioned. Like, I'll give an example, like Nick Bolton, linebacker from the Kansas City Chiefs. Like, and you're wondering, oh, why didn't you mention it there? Like, it just didn't, like, it's not like it didn't come to mind yet. Like, it just, I do think, then again, like, you could put him on there, but, like, he deserves to be on there, obviously, but I'm not going to put too much effort into recognizing him because I don't believe like it'll make that big of a difference. Like, then again, I could have all these hot takes, but come on. And then another one I actually did forget to mention now, looking back at this list, Stephon Gilmore. How could I forget? Oh my god. I literally have my snubs on like my phone next to me and I forgot to mention him. That's really sad. But Stephon Gilmore, Indianapolis Colts. Stephon Gilmore is having a really good season. I know I say this for all players. They're either having a good season or a bad season, but he's 32 years old, but he's a 5-time Pro Bowler. He should have been 6-time. I definitely do think because like he's very well known. So like I think a lot of people should have voted for him. But I do think one reason he's not coming out more is because the Colts are what, like 4-10-1. They have a losing season, so I think that's hindered Stephon Gilmore's candidacy for this. Like like shunned his true potential, but he's a workhorse. He's played 532 coverage snaps to date, but it's probably been more because I think I wrote this a while ago, so it's probably been at least 600. I'd say he's scored 2 interceptions and 11 pass breakups, not breaks. He's still earning weekly assignments against opposing number one receivers. Like, that's a big snub right there. But other than that, I don't see any huge snubs. So creating a new team. Oh wow. Okay. So then again, like you saw a lot of these players. Like so, most of them will be repeats if I'm being honest. But where's my pen? Okay. So most of these, like I said, will be repeats. But I'm just if I forget, like I'm just gonna be doing like when it comes to defensive tackles and stuff, I'm just gonna be doing people people I believe are snubs in the sense like so QB. I see Jalen Hurts out there, and then QB Pat Mahomes. Okay. Running back. So we kind of have to pick the best ones, but that's very hard. Like Jonathan Taylor's not even on this list, but she's injured, shouldn't be. One QB I was rooting for, not QB, running back I was actually really interested in Najee Harris, but then he got injured. Najee Harris having a really good season. He's one of the things you can't easily tackle him. Unfortunately, he did not make the Pro Bowl because he is injured, but that's okay. But also Nick Chubb. I'll agree with that, I guess. Like, then again, like, these are all interchangeable, so, like, I'm only putting one running back because you already saw most of them. Oh, why is this coming up? But, running back, I gotta put Saquon, man. I have to put Saquon. It's not fair if I don't. Wide receiver. G. Jettos, aka Justin Jefferson, if you didn't know. I'm gonna put Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill is definitely a nice, really good Hall of Famer. Then who else do I have? Tight end. Okay. Tight end, obviously, for the NFC, I'm gonna put Mark Andrews and Travis Kelce. Like, that's pretty hard to distinguish. But gotta be honest, man. I think just Travis Kelce. He's been too dominant. Like, he's very hard to tackle. Like, he's a big. When I mean big, I mean a big tight end. I mean, tight ends are supposed to be big wide receivers, basically. That's basically their role. But come on, he's really big. Okay. I'm not gonna mess with any offensive tight end. I'll add like people who I believe should be on here, like Nick Chubb, but like sorry, not Saquon. But I'm gonna add Christian McCaffrey. Wait, did I not say McCaffrey as a snub? Oh, I didn't. Oh my god, but Christian McCaffrey, like, literally, like I just remembered him. Like, how did he's not on it? Christian McCaffrey, he basically just got traded before the trade deadline to the 49ers, and he's still not in. He's like recorded 700 yards. Like, come on, man. Christian McCaffrey's such a big snub. Like, he's probably the biggest snub. In my opinion, I forgot him. But, like, in the sense, come on, man. You can't be doing that. And then for the rest, for basically defensive players, like, so this basic offense, like, I'm not going to mess with any offense because I didn't really have the offensive, so it's going to be defensive, but okay, let's put all the defensive players, I think. So we're going to put AFC. These are Nick Bolton. Then for these he's a linebacker. And then Javon Hargrave for a defensive tackle for the Philadelphia Eagles. Then I'm spelling all these names right. I think Stephon Gilmore as a cornerback for the Colts. And then that's really it, if I'm being honest. Like, I don't see any other players that I would put in as the snubs. So, okay, let's go back to my agenda. So, snubs, creating a new team.